Okay, it's being recorded.
Okay. Hey. Irene, how
Hi,
are you?
sorry.
How are you?
I'm great. I had a restful long weekend and ready to start the week
That's great.
with
That's
real
great.
estate.
So, I want to talk to you because you are a real estate lawyer, and I wanted to ask you a bunch of questions just to, help my viewers or your viewers understand what the process is on a very basic, generic level. So, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Charlene Williams. I've been a realtor for 15 years. I'm with Real Estate Homeward, and I am excited to talk to Irena Brooks.
And my name is Irena Brooks. I'm a partner and the team lead of real estate at Henry Brooks LLP. We recently merged this firm in 2022, and prior to that, I was a solo practitioner since 2018. And I'm very excited to be here and to discuss all things real estate.
That's excellent. So Irene, 2018, that's not very long, but I'm sure you've had tons of deals because the real estate market is crazy, right?
Yeah. So prior to going solo, I did work for a builder, condo, and subdivision
Oh,
law firm. I actually started clerking there, and then I proceeded to go to law school afterwards. So I've been practicing like in the real estate area, I would say since 2009, like all things real estate. So I've seen everything from clerking to being a lawyer to articling. And yeah, it's a crazy time right now. I know a lot of people are anxious and scared, but I try to tell people don't be. There's always a solution. We just have to be more creative now with how things are working.
yes, I understand that. We've had the same issues, of course. Me being a realtor in this kind of environment, we've had some issues where, a transaction may not go through. So we are able to talk with the lawyer, talk with the mortgage broker, because we're all partners in this forum helping purchasers as well as sellers,
A
right?
hundred, 100%.
Yeah.
I think the fear is the rising interest rates. I think that's probably the main fear that many people that make an average income, like they stay in Toronto, like the average income of a individual is about 60 to 65,000, 60 to 65,000. So knowing that and knowing that with that purchase price power, you can probably only purchase a property for maybe like $200,000. What are you really buying in the city? And I think that's really scaring off a lot of potential buyers.
And rightly so, because you can't really get anything. So it's like a double income. So let's say you are with your partner and you make 120 together combined. We're looking at still 400,000, maybe.
They're saying the average like family income to purchase something that's decent, which I would say is in like 800,000 to like a million range. You have to be making at least $215,000.
250.
The 15, 1 5. They said it in a Globe and Mail article a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, like
Right. So is that clickbait, do you think, or is it for real? Like I find that some of the news programs will just make these headlines so that people will read their stuff. Like, and then there's
yeah.
people, right? And then there are people that are like, okay, we only make, let's say, 200,000 a year combined. Can we afford to get something? So there's all these questions in everyone's minds that, they're reading this in the newspaper. It's not necessarily true. How I would answer that is go speak to a professional.
And there's always ways. And the thing is too is like, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, an additional co-signer can be added, or maybe a guarantor, or maybe if it's going to be a rental income, they'll factor in that income to boost up the qualification amount. So there's different ways to resolve those types of issues. But I think when you just see a headline like that, it's like, wow, I'm shunned out. I'm never going to be able to buy. And that's not the case. And there's always the pre-construction route. And I know you do a lot of pre-construction as well. So there's different ways that they can get in.
Yeah, I do. I'm working on doing quite a few pre-construction condos in this city. And I read a headline actually just today. Again, it's one of those clickbait headlines, I think, that says the prices of condos have dropped for the first time in this city in 5 years. And I
Wow.
don't know necessarily that that is true, especially with the downtown condos. You're still seeing multiple offers on condos
Yeah,
downtown,
no, for sure.
right?
Both leases and purchases. I heard some bidding wars are like 30 people just to rent a place. So
Yeah, I was in one with 9 people to rent a place. And that to me seems a little bit ridiculous, if I can say that. I'm just like, why? Why would you want to be in that kind of environment? But in any case, let's move on from that. So tell me, have you had anything recently that you made, of course, not using names, but like for
never.
an
I don't want to
example?
get sued, and I don't want to breach anybody's confidentiality. So I definitely
Exactly, exactly. I
would
feel the
never.
same way. I've had a couple of clients, they're looking for a particular home in a particular place. And I think just to have give it a wider berth, I think that might get you a little bit farther. Yes, everybody wants to live in the city. Yes, everybody wants it to be convenient, but it doesn't necessarily work that way with the funds that you have, right?
I have a lot of examples, so I can talk all day, but I'll just think of the first two that have already come to my brain. So the first issue that I dealt with was it was a few months ago where my client was selling, my clients were selling their property. And the property had already gone into foreclosure proceedings because there were several months of arrears, both on the first and the second mortgage. So come to a few weeks before closing date, we got all the figures from all of the lenders and all the associated, there was a few additional liens that were on the property. And there wasn't enough proceeds to pay out everyone that had to get paid. And I asked them, like, is there family members? Is there someone that could loan? Like, I know they looked at maybe possibly reducing the real estate commission, but that's usually set in stone. So I was like, it's going to be unrealistic. But they looked at ways to possibly pay, and it was a couple that was going through a divorce. So obviously, like, one party had the money to pay their half, but they didn't want to fund everything. So long story short, the deal did not successfully complete itself. The buyers, like, were ready and willing to sue and go to litigation, but in essence, there was no assets that they really would be able to chase later on. So they just let it go and they asked for a mutual release. But in doing that, like, the buyers did not get their dream home. And my clients, like, I was devastated for them because they weren't able to close the transaction. I think they were like over $100,000 short. It wasn't even like a small shortfall.
Wow.
So that was like a major thing. And it was kind of like disheartening. Like, I try not to get emotions involved, but I actually had to help them purchase that home to see it go away to like a foreclosure, through a foreclosure process. It was like devastating to see for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not been in that situation, but I have been in with a couple who are divorcing, more than a couple of times actually. And it is heartbreaking. It is that, we want the best for our clients. And when that doesn't happen, it kind of, we're not stone-faced people. We are real people. We are emotional. We want the best for our clients. And when that doesn't happen, we just kind of,
100%.
yeah.
Especially because we help, like, I always tell clients this in every signing meeting I do, because sometimes, like, they're silent and they're like, I'm like, do you have any questions? And they're like, no, no, no. Like, let me let the lawyer speak. And then they're like, no, we don't want to take up any more time. Like, a lot of them respect, there's clients that don't respect your time. And then, or it's at the other end of the spectrum where they really do, and they don't want to bother you. And I tell them and say, look, you're paying me for a service. This is
Yes.
the most expensive transaction of your life. If you aren't sure about something or something does not make sense, like ask me, because I don't want you to leave here and then, bad talk me or say something like, oh, I didn't help you, I didn't handhold. So then they'll be like, okay, well, we do have a question. We wanted to know X, Y, Z. So yeah, like you really build a relationship with them, even with all my clients. Yes, they're transaction based deals, but I still remember every single one of my clients, and I value the relationship, and I want them to come back when they're doing refinances or subsequent sales or purchases, and even with our other services. So it's very important to establish that relationship. Obviously trying to keep emotions out the way sometimes, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's a client retention. It's everything along those lines. I feel like, okay, no, you don't want to bother me with these questions, but that's why I'm here, right? I'm here to help make this transaction as smooth as possible. Yes, it is a transaction, but in the end, I have people in my car. We become friends. So I've gone to a lot of weddings.
Yeah, they invite like a lot of clients or even like referral partners. Like they start inviting me to like their personal events and stuff like that. And I
Yes.
find it's really important to be around like-minded people, especially in the real estate industry. And sometimes like your normal friends from like birth or childhood or later on, like they may not understand like the implications and things that you have on you. So I do think it's refreshing sometimes to meet and have social time with other like-minded people in the industry as well.
Right, right. So I'm just gonna try to wrap this up, I think, a little bit. Have you been busy in the last, I'm gonna say 1 month?
Yes. So even though real estate has slowed down in terms of like inventory and purchase like qualifications, we've been very busy with sales. So that's for people who may be on a variable mortgage interest rate and just no longer can afford to pay it anymore, and they don't want to go through any type of foreclosure, and they just want to sell until the market drops, and then they may purchase again. So we've had those types of clients. And then I would say the second most busiest thing that I've been doing right now is private lending. There's many clients who just are strapped for cash and don't have money because of inflation. So they've been registering second mortgages on their property. Some in desperation, some just because they want some extra cash. But one issue I'm finding is that when it's coming time for some of these people to renew or to pay out their mortgage, like there's not enough equity in the property to renew their mortgages. So that's been another issue that we've been dealing with as well.
Right, and that's keeping you very busy. Yeah, I feel the same way. The
Cuts to
market
the
has,
lawyer.
yeah, the market has slowed down quite a bit for me, but there are people, there's like always somebody asking a question, like, what are my next steps? Where can I go? What can I do? That sort of thing. So yeah, we are here to help. And I don't have like a crystal ball, so I can't tell you whether the interest rate will go up another 0.25% in September. Like, we don't know. We don't know. I'm in the same boat as most people. I personally have a variable mortgage, and yes, it's killing me.
Girl,
Right?
I'm not locking it. Like I refuse to, and now it's too high. Like I'm not locking into that rate for 3 to 5 years. Like,
Yes. So you and me both. So yeah, I'm any kind of conversation, any kind of discussion, both Irena and I are here to help. This is what we do with our clients, and we don't mind, I personally don't mind speaking to you about anything that you need. So, and I'm sure, yeah, Irena feels the same way. Thank you so much, Irena. I mean, we will probably, hopefully, do another one of these, but just so that you know, Irena's here for you. I'm here for you. And we together, we make a good team.
yes. Thank you for having me, Charlene. This was great. And I look forward to meeting with any potential clients or just people that have general questions about real estate. I know sometimes there's a stigma of, oh, I can't talk to a lawyer unless you pay them. Like I love conversation, especially about real estate. I'm always happy to talk.
She's easy to talk to. Thanks a lot, Irena.
Okay.